That escalated very quickly. I'm not in that good a shape yet. So anyway, listen, I am so excited about today. I'm just so excited about these projects. You all have worked so hard this year, and I've just had the absolute blessing to be with you guys this year and listen to you guys learn these new things, concepts and ideas that you've never thought about, and these things that you're going to take back to your business and grow yourself into a real community person. And that's what's so important. That's what the whole message about these projects and why we did this. And for those that don't know the kind of the history of these projects, we started these, I believe, last year, where we were wanting to incorporate the smart growth, community engagement, community development piece of what being a realtor is all about. And that's what these projects encompass. And I had a chance, I think when we were in Cleveland, and you guys kind of like soft pitched these ideas, and oh man, they were just so awesome then. And then Stacy was like, yeah, but you haven't seen them in stage 2. They're even more awesome now. So I'm just so stoked to see you guys in these presentations. And I've talked about the school project, the school project in some conversations with some local leaders in Dayton. I've talked about working with the school districts and working on student safety, child safety and stuff. So you guys are already inspiring me to do different stuff back in Dayton. So I'm just so excited about this. I even drugged my wife with me so that she can hear all these amazing stuff. So without further ado, congratulations on this day being here. You all have worked very hard. And I just can't wait to see what you guys have come up with. So, excellent work. Yep.
Okay, now.
Did you have our music ready, Dennis?
You want me to sing?
You had one job.
Yes.
So, you want us to use the mic?
If you can, please.
Okay.
You turn it on. Turn on.
Check.
The future.
We're live.
We're
I
live.
think
We're
we'll be
good.
good.
Okay.
You want us to get closer?
Nope, you're good.
All right. So welcome to Schoolhouse Rocks. It's a community renewal project by Monica Bess, the Sarah Martie, and myself, Kyle Oberlin. So I'm going to pass it off to Monica, and she's going to get us started talking about our purpose and mission statement.
So the purpose and mission of the grant we picked, breathing new life in space by repurposing an old school building in a vibrant area within the city. We're going to strengthen the community, and we're going to do this with collaboration between small business, big corporations, local government, and residents of the community. And we are going to bring the local businesses and the community together at the heart of a new neighborhood. And talking about the Smart Growth Grant, we are using level 2 in the amount of $4,000, and we are doing the research to have an attractive community with a strong sense of place, and we're going to strengthen and develop it towards the existing communities and encourage community stakeholders in the collaboration of the development decision. So we're going to bring them all in together to see what the community does want to take place at the Schoolhouse Rocks.
So when we started to develop this idea, we looked for other cases where this had been done, abandoned school buildings, specifically what we're looking for, and we found two that we have kind of modeled our plans after. So the first one is the Ivy Wild School, and this is in Colorado Springs. This school actually shut down in 2009, and with the help of private investors in 2012, it reopened as a multi-use facility. This has been a wild success in their community. Since these buildings are schools, they're generally built in the middle of neighborhoods, and they become a really great community hub. Easy walkability to them, and they've had a lot of success. In this particular location, they have an artisan bakery, a deli and meat counter. They also have a microbrewery. So it's just a fun community hub to do some shopping. They also do activities there, like music productions and stuff like that on the weekend. So it's become a real huge success for this case study that we found. So the next study is for Campus 805. It is in Huntsville, Alabama. This school also happened to close in 2009 and reopened in 2012. This one actually had multiple investors that were involved in the project though. And at the beginning, it did not do so well. Throughout the years, they have edited and kind of made a little closer attention to what kind of vendors are in this location, and that became a really important detail and something that we have learned and grown our project on. And you will hear about how we're going to do a poll in the community about what they would like to see the vendors be. And we think that that's going to make a huge impact on making sure that we're successful out of the gate with this project. So that was a good learning tool from Campus 805 that we have.
So in terms of the budget for the Smart Growth Grant itself, so really we're just breaking those down into three smaller pieces to the big puzzle. Paying the architect itself to somewhat kind of give us an idea on what we can do there. The pool, which includes the postage and the printing, which you see the pool off to the right, and the leasing of the meeting space to kind of help put this all together. The pool that you see on the right is kind of what Sarah was talking about in terms of kind of gauging that community interest. You know, it's important for us to succeed, and you know, you don't really know what people want until you ask. So, you know, that's simply what we're doing, is we're finding out exactly what the community wants in this project, and you know, ultimately it's going to help the success of the project itself. In terms of timeline, we're doing this in a few phases. So about 300 days out, we're going to be identifying the partners, securing the funding, which in my opinion is the most important part. I mean, you can't really do anything without money. So you have to secure the funding and the community meeting itself with local officials and Chamber of Commerce. Phase 2, kind of getting into the finer details. You're kind of, you know, walking the space, putting it all together. And then phase 3 is mostly just planning the grand opening, is essentially what phase 3 is. You're planning that, you're getting the marketing materials out, and you know, and then kind of after the grand opening, engaging that feedback and the community response and seeing, you know, trying to determine if it was a success or not. So.
And with that, we went through and determined who the good community partners would be in this project, and partnering with local banks, Chamber of Commerce again, the Visitors Bureau, economic development groups, and then the service organizations, Food Association, Gaming Association, and then Art Council are the community partners in this.
So when it came to planning where we were going to make this Schoolhouse Rocks building come to life, we wanted to make sure that it was in a neighborhood that could actually financially support what we were going for. You know, if we're going to have a microbrewery, we need people that can afford to go to the microbrewery. And that could be a little bit of a challenge when you're looking for schools that have closed down and still in a vibrant neighborhood. So we found this location in OR Town. And it is in a busy hub and close to the downtown center of the city, and they just built a new school building, so this building was abandoned on a different site. So as you can see, the property itself is a bit overgrown, it looks rough, it's an eyesore to the community, so we think we'll have a lot of community buy-in to be able to rejuvenate this space. Also, after our walkthrough, we determined that we think that it's still a structurally sound building. Although it looks not great, it shouldn't take as much capital to make sure that we can, you know, bring it back to life with the least amount of cost and opening up a whole can of worms. So, as we discussed, part of what we need to do is hire an architect to come up with plans for the building. This might not suffice for our investors to get some buy-in, but this is just a rough idea of what this could look like. So you can see at the end here, this is kind of the gymnasium area, the microbrewery. Down at the end, this is a community center with a stage so that there can be community plays, or we could bring in, you know, local musicians. You're hanging out at the brewery on a Friday night and the musicians are playing community-style tables to bring the community together. And windows out into an art studio kind of area here where you can have, you know, wine and paint nights or canvas nights and that sort of thing. Small vendor hallways down the school hallways, food court area, and vendors along the next hallway too. So those are the potential uses for the floor plan that we've been thinking about.
And through our marketing, we had created these pieces, and this kind of shows you how we're going to market, getting the buy-in from the community, inviting the community members together, and then, of course, doing, the print, digital, word of mouth, and then also having an opportunity to have membership available to the special Schoolhouse Rocks.
Money, money, money. Obviously, you need money to get everything going. So even though that the Smart Growth Grant is going to get the ball rolling, ultimately you need a lot of funding to not only get the project underway, but then also ongoing operations after everything's open and whatnot. So, local grants are going to help secure the building itself. Hopefully with the community buy-in and being an eyesore in the fact that that school's just empty and vacant, they should have incentive to kind of push it towards us and get this project going. So, potential tax benefits as well. In terms of the building renovations on the interior, ultimately there's going to be private companies operating out of this building. So we feel that they can renovate their space however they see fit, so that actually is kind of passing the cost off to the private industry instead of putting it on us. So that's going to be a huge benefit. And then we could, if we do find a large corporate sponsor, we could provide naming rights to them. Oberlin, unfortunately, does have a very large corporate tax base, so we're hopeful that we can find somebody. And then money from the lease contracts will help ongoing operations and maintenance of the building itself. So in terms of execution, really execution's key, especially in the grand opening. You want all hands on deck. We'll need as many volunteers, as much community buy-in as we possibly can to have a successful grand opening. It's going to be a huge undertaking, but then fortunately after that, everything else will sort of start taking care of itself. We'll have that initial push out of the way. Those businesses will be set, they'll be secure, they'll have an idea on what staff that they need to schedule themselves, and then ultimately it'll just run itself, and we'll just be kind of passing the buck off to the businesses. So thank you for coming and listening to our presentation. And did anyone have any questions, comments, concerns for us?